Hi, I'm Jennet Ingle, the 5-Minute Reedmaker. If you are watching this on YouTube, would you go ahead and click subscribe for me? That way you always know when I drop a new episode, and it makes it easier for other people to find my channel and to become better Reedmakers and happier musicians. Thank you. Last night in Reed Club, one of my participants was talking about a Reedmaker who used to make reeds for her, if that makes sense, and how when she got a new oboe, she, my participant, it was sharper than her other instrument, and she needed the reeds to be great, as always, but flatter in pitch. And the solution that this other Reedmaker had was to cut additional windows in the middle of the heart, double windows. And I said, that's not a thing. Who does that? But she, my participant, was very insistent, and we diagrammed it together, and there's a way in which it sort of makes sense. And so you know that I'm a sucker for an experiment. So I'm going to try. Let's see what happens if I cut extra windows in the middle of the heart, and whether it drops the pitch of the reed while leaving stability, core, resistance. Let's find out. So I have here, this is just a day one reed that I made 5 minutes ago, and currently it sounds like this. It's got a beep with a little bit of resistance in it. It's got a crow that is quite a sharp C. And on the oboe, it's kind of okay. It sits just a little bit up on top of the pitch. It's a little shallow, but I didn't want to build a super sharp reed for the experiment. I wanted to see if a normal reed could be dropped in pitch. So that is my curiosity. The action that my participant described is not, and I found this really interesting. We are not talking about lengthening the window up into the heart, because that would just be making an extra long window. We're not talking about thinning anything up here, which made sense to me because this area up in that upper triangle, I sort of call it the attic of the rooftop up in here. And I do think we need significant resistance, significant bulk up in that area. No, what she described was an additional window here and here that is almost as thin, or even as thin, as the windows right behind the heart. I'm so intrigued. So, thing one with this reed is, my windows themselves aren't very deep yet, and normally I would deepen that a little bit as I finish this reed. So let me just work on organizing that. Okay, so that we can see quite a clear-cut difference between the windows and the heart. And now I'm going to go in and I'm going to see, I don't even know what the knife scrape would be to remove cane in the middle of the channel of the heart without taking the attic, without taking the rail, without taking the spine, without taking the base of the heart. So I'm using just a very little bit of knife right at sort of at the tip of the knife, but I think any part of the knife would work. I just tend to use the part that feels the sharpest to me in the moment, and that's up here right now. So I can see a pretty significant thing that I've done there. And I'll turn it over and do the other side. It's interesting. I don't want to press too much, because when I press, I broaden that scrape. And in the windows, I don't mind. It just means that I go over the spine a little bit. And I'm not a real big spine girl. But here in the heart, I feel like I do want some structure in the middle. So I'm trying to keep these strokes very light so I'm not pressing the reed down too far and like flattening out its curvature. Okay, well, let's see what I've done here. When I backlight it, and I know I've tried before to show you good backlighting in these videos and failed miserably. But when I backlight it, I can definitely see a thinner area within the heart. And now I wonder what has happened. The beep is significantly easier than it was. The crow has gone down to a B from quite a sharp C, which means, of course, that I have room to clip, but I'm going to keep working, keep thinking. So this reed to me feels certainly a lot more flexible. It's playing in tune, but on the low side of in tune, whereas before it was on the high side of in tune. I'm just going to give it a quick clip because it does feel underbalanced for sure. So there's my sea crow. There's a lot of flexibility in this reed. I'm not sure that I adore it. I'm not sure that I feel a lot of core in the sound, but we'll recall that this is just a day one reed, so I'm going to try to finesse that a little bit. So I'm going to work the sides and corners of the tip and probably clip again and see what our result is. So I guess the lack of core that I'm feeling is sort of roughly what I expected from this experiment. I expected that there would be less good resistance, less warmth in the sound when I gutted out the middle of the heart. But I wonder. So, look, I've just thinned the sides and corners of the tip, petted the kitty a little bit. I'm going to clip. There's a nice easy beep. We're at a sharp C again. Whoa! Now I like that quite a lot better than I did before. This reed feels really easy to play. It still has a fairly comfortable cushion. So what happened? When I gutted out the inside of the windows, the reed became too easy, too underbalanced, and it took me a little bit of effort of clipping, refining the tip, and clipping again to bring it back around. But I don't think there's a problem here. Honestly, this feels like a good reed. I'm going to experiment again with this guy over here, which is just a day two reed out of my case. Beeps a C, beeps comfortably. Crows a C right down the middle. Plays nicely in tune and has a nice comfortable core. My question is what happens to this reed if I take out the middle of the heart? Middle of the heart. Middle of the heart. Middle. Oh, I caught a nice big piece there. Middle. We dropped the crow to a B, just like we did with the other one. So I'll go ahead and clip just a little. Now there's my C crow. I tell tell you what, I don't notice a significant difference in the pitch center of the reed. It's still playing in tune pretty nicely, but it does feel more flexible in a really nice way. It does feel easier in a really nice way. And it does, let's see, more flexible does, can have the result of bringing something down in pitch. And certainly it feels very comfortable to play. All right, this may be a thing that I continue to experiment with, because I really like those reeds and the adjustments I just made to them. Isn't it fun when you discover something new? I think this might be something I continue to experiment with. I have occasionally used the step into the middle of the heart, which I surely have a video on, as a trick to lower pitch, which has worked for me. But what I really like about this trick is that it gave me increased flexibility and increased ease without taking away, I mean, once I readjusted a little bit, right? It definitely had an impact on the balance of the reed, and I had to rework the tip on both reeds to compensate and clip back quite a lot. But I'm always looking for ways to underbalance and clip back, right? I would like a reed to sit a little bit shorter, and I would like a reed to crow a bee so that I can clip it, so that I can bring the sound and the resistance and the core of it around to being what I want. So this actually may have been a really fruitful experiment. Now, I would love to know in the comments whether this is something you have experimented with, whether you are that reed maker who cut holes in the middle of the hearts of Carol's reeds. I am curious. And of course, I would love to invite you, if you have any interest in having conversations like this on a regular basis. You could come to Read Club too. We meet every Monday. This October, we are experimenting with a 6 p.m. Eastern Time start, which I'm quite liking so far. But we meet every Monday and we get the job done and talk about it on the way. This has been a 5-minute Reedmaker lesson. If you need to order reeds or cane, or reach out to me with a question that I could answer in a future 5-minute Reedmaker episode, or pick up a copy of my book, The Happiest Musician, you could do all of that on my website, jennetingle.com. You could also sign up for Read Club over there. And thank you so much for watching. Have a great day.